Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this bill is a simple one, but, sir, it has very important and wide-ranging impact and ramifications, sir. The Honorable Minister of Home Affairs has done a remarkable job in outlining to us the merits of the bill, what it seeks to do, how it seeks to do it, and, sir, the impact that it will have once enacted. Mr. Speaker, our government, as I have said before, has a legislative agenda that is intended to travel with equal dispatch with the economic and social progress taking place in our country. And I've heard repeatedly, I am recognized for this legislative effort, but I singularly am not responsible. We are a collective on this side, and it is our legislative agenda that we are pushing. And there are some important persons in the background here who I must recognize: Ms. Joanne Bond, Mr. Johnny Fongafat, Melissa Adolphus, Shoshana Lal. Those are the real people who are driving this agenda, and I want to recognize them on the record. So, Mr. Speaker, we will continue to bring bills of different sizes and of different magnitude as we proceed with the transformation of our country. We are not here, sir, to quibble for hours over what a standing order should say and whether we want to strip Your Honor of powers to determine what should be placed in the order paper. We have no time and energy for that. We will dedicate our time and energy to the service of the people of this country in a real and constructive way. And Mr. Speaker, and that is why we are bringing this bill. The Honorable Member, Ms. Geeta Chandan, recognizes, as did the Minister of Home Affairs, that we have had on our roadways for a number of years now these electric cycle, and they have begun to pose a problem because our legal legislative architecture does not in its current form caters for them. And there is no way to regulate them, there is no way to bring them within any form of regulatory framework other than by this amendment. And that is why, Mr. Speaker, we are here. We are here also, Mr. Speaker, in recognition of the fact that we are losing too many of our citizens on the roadways of our country. And our government will constantly be taking all steps requisite to ensure that we address that matter. To us, Mr. Speaker, unlike those who are obsessed with the oil on that side, to us, the oil is not our most important resource. Our most important resource to us are the people of our country, and we are protecting the people of our country. Mr. Speaker, I read, like Ms. Geeta Chandan, some misplaced objections and criticisms to this bill when it was first publicized. And the impression that I got is that the populace out there is of the impression that we want to ban electric cycles in Guyana. But I had to issue a statement to say that we are not the banning government. The banning government is the PNCR, and they are on that side of the house. We are the government that will bring law and order to to activities in the country. And that is what this bill seeks to do. Mr. Speaker, yes. So we recognize the importance of this e-cycle from many perspectives. We recognize its environmental friendly nature. We recognize that it's a cheap source of transportation for those who are more vulnerable in our society. We also recognize that it is a quick and expedient mode of transportation in our country. So we embrace this mode of transportation, but we thought it fit that it should be brought into regulation. And Mr. Speaker, in this regard, we are emulating countries such as the United Kingdom, Australia, Ireland, and Canada that have enacted recent legislation of this type. Mr. Speaker, the important matter, the important issue that we have to confront in this country is the carnage that is taking place on our roadways. Mr. Speaker, these vehicles alone, based upon the statistics that I received from the Guyana Police Force, the data reveals that 11 persons were killed and 14 other persons suffered significant injuries as a result of the use of electric cycles from 2021 to 2023. That is a completely unaccepted state of affairs. According to the Guyana Police Force, all of the riders of these cycles did not possess any form of vehicular license. Rather, they took advantage of the fact that the Guyana Revenue Authority was not regulating electric cycles. Most times, users of these cycles are not using helmets, thereby exposing themselves to potential injury and even worse, disability or death. Even more frightening is that some of the users are young persons, even persons under the age of 16. Recently, in February of this year, Stabrook News headline dated 18th of February 2023 read, and I quote, "Nonpareil girl 17 on electric bike dies after accident. The cycle was ridden by a 16-year-old female and the pillion rider, a 17-year-old, had died. It is because of incidents like these, Mr. Speaker, that the bill is before us." So, Mr. Speaker, this bill certainly is an important one, and I am happy that those on the other side, the honorable members on the other side, have supported the bill. And Mr. Speaker, I seek your kind permission to respond to something that the honorable member Mahipal said this morning. Mr. Speaker, I sat down and listened to Mr. Mahipal regale us for nearly 30 minutes about whose days are numbered in this assembly. And he pointed to the June 12th local government elections. And he told us, Mr. Speaker, that those elections will reveal whose days are numbered. Mr. Speaker, I have a GCOM press release. And it says this: for the LAA, the Guyana Election Commission takes this opportunity to inform all stakeholders that 13 LLAs with a combined total of 98 constituencies and 193 additional constituencies.
Honorable AG, Honorable Member Mr. Mahipal on his feet.
Thank you, Comrade Speaker. Comrade Speaker, I stand on Standing Order 41, content of speech. Sir, I never made reference to the June 12th election. I think the Honorable Member is imputing. I never made reference to the June 12th election being the election that will number their days. I spoke about an election, and really I was referencing the national election.
Honorable AG, the Honorable Member is accurate. In fact, he hasn't even spoken as yet on this.
He spoke about an election, and that election will determine the number of days that we have in this assembly.
Yeah.
And Mr. Speaker, 13 LLAs are not contested by that side. 98 constituencies are not contested. A total of 291 constituencies are not contested, meaning that the People's Progressive Party will, without going to the election, win 291 constituencies whose days are numbered. We have not even gone to the elections. We have not gone to the elections yet, and we already win 291 seats, and they have won none. And they're telling us about whose days are numbered. Mr. Ramjatan had to leave because he's not contesting any. And he's telling people about their days are numbered. But I am happy that they're saying these things, and due to technology, the people are hearing. In the same way that they denied that they pulled that mace and broke it. The mace, yes, they denied that this morning. And we will run the footage and we will play the speech as they are grabbing the mace. The speaker who spoke this morning will be heard telling the people we didn't pull the mace. That tape coming out this afternoon. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.